The first time I heard it, I thought it was the pipes. A low groan beneath the floorboards, rising in pitch until it sounded like a voice strained, muffled, begging. The old asylum wing had been closed for years, but part of my job as a night custodian was making rounds through the empty halls. Most people avoided this section, but I had keys, and orders were orders. The wing smelled faintly of mildew and rust, the kind of damp rot that clung to your clothes long after you left. Every step echoed too loudly, like the building wanted you to hear yourself intruding. That night, the sound came as I crossed the long corridor where the tiles turned yellowed and cracked. The floor beneath me vibrated, not subtle violent, like something alive was pushing upward. Then came the screams, muffled, yes, but clear enough that I froze. They were layered dozens of voices, men and women, some wailing, some whispering, all twisted together. It was impossible, but I swear I felt the vibrations climbing up through my shoes, rattling the bones in my legs. I told myself it was an auditory illusion, stress, imagination. But when I crouched down and pressed my ear to the cold tile, I heard it again. Not just screams, words, a chorus of them, sharp and desperate. "Let us out." My stomach lurched. I stumbled back, but the tiles shifted under my weight, like something had slammed against them from below. I remember fumbling my flashlight, the beam skittering across the floor. That's when I saw it. The grout lines between the tiles. They weren't just cracked. They were moving. Fine, pale lines, fingers pressing up through the spaces, clawing at the seams. I should have run. Every instinct screamed at me to turn and leave. But instead, some force of dread or curiosity kept me rooted. My hand moved on its own, prying at one of the loose tiles, nails breaking against the brittle edges. When I finally lifted it, the smell hit me first. Damp earth, iron, and something sour, like decay trapped for too long. And then the hands. Pale, bone-like fingers thrust upward, grasping blindly, scraping against the underside of the surrounding tiles. They weren't full arms, just fragments, disembodied, writhing as if desperate to climb out. Each movement was frantic, synchronized with those muffled screams that poured from the opening in a rush of icy air. I staggered back, dropping the tile with a clatter that seemed to silence the hall. For a single moment, the screaming stopped. Absolute silence. The hands froze mid-motion, every finger rigid and trembling, and then one of them turned. It wasn't random grasping. The fingers curled inward, slowly, deliberately, until they formed a shape, a pointing hand, pointing at me. That was when the rest of the floor erupted. Tiles rattled and shook violently, one after another, as if hundreds of fists were pounding from underneath. The sound rose to a deafening roar, screams overlapping until they were almost inhuman. My flashlight flickered, shadows writhing across the walls like the whole wing was alive. I ran. I didn't even try to replace the tile. I bolted down the corridor, heart hammering, every step chased by the thunder of tiles rattling behind me. By the time I burst out into the lit main hall, the sound stopped. Dead silence. The floor looked normal when I glanced back through the cracked doorway. I reported it, of course. Told the supervisor the floor was unstable, maybe hollow beneath. But they just laughed it off, said the wing hadn't had power or maintenance in years. "You're hearing the old pipes," they told me. "But pipes don't leave scratches." The next day, I walked that corridor again against my better judgment. Every tile looked sealed tight as if nothing had happened. But when I reached the spot where I had pried one loose, I froze. Etched into the tile, faint but unmistakable, were fresh gouges, long, jagged marks. Not random. Words. 3 words carved into the stone from below. "We are here." And the worst part? When I leaned down to trace them with my hand, the tile was warm. Like something beneath it was still breathing. Drop a comment and let me know if you liked this story for more content. Like and subscribe. See you at the next campfire.